Charter Hall is one of Australia's largest fully integrated property groups. We have over $20 billion of capital under management, and we have 26 years of history of generating outperformance for our investors. The types of assets that we invest into cut across the property spheres of industrial, office, retail, and hotels. Our success has been driven from a large team of highly motivated and successful property professionals. At Charter Hall, we manage other people's capital as if it's our own. In fact, in almost all cases, Charter Hall Group will have money invested in our funds, or senior management or the board of directors will be invested. That creates a good sense of alignment and focused on the right outcomes. The investment objective of the fund is to provide strong, sustainable and growing income streams, as well as the potential for capital growth over the medium to long term. The fund will aim to do this by investing into properties where the tenant is a key player in the consumer staples market. The Diversified Consumer Staples Fund strategy is to invest into properties leased to distributors and producers of consumer staples goods. We'll do this by investing over the medium to long term. The rationale for targeting these types of tenants is that consumer staples market exhibits a number of characteristics that provide income security to the fund. These are strong cash flows, and these entities usually have a long history of being in business and are resilient through cycles. Additionally, consumer staples businesses tend to grow in correlation with the population growth and have dominant brands with high levels of consumer loyalty. We will actively manage the portfolio to increase its value and income growth prospects. We'll look to grow the rental income of the fund by investing in properties with a quality anchor tenant on long-term leases with structured rental increases. In simple terms, properties must be well located, and the quality anchor tenant should derive the majority of their revenue from being a producer or distributor of consumer staples goods. We obviously also consider geographic weighting as well as a lease expiry profile that fits within the portfolio. We like the defensive characteristics of this sector, which is why they must be in the consumer staples business. This will usually be in retail and industrial sectors, and when we consider a property, we target in the non-discretionary part of the sector. When considering diversification for this portfolio, we look at the geographic diversification as well as diversification by tenants. However, this fund is a little bit different to how we usually do funds in that it is not sector specific. It can invest into industrial, retail, or the office sectors, provided that the underlying tenant is in that consumer staples market. The fund's gearing range is 30 to 45%. This is very similar to a number of products that we also manage. We believe that having a range allows the manager flexibility to increase gearing or decrease gearing depending on where you're at in the investment cycle. At the liquidity event, it means investors get a choice on what they would like to do. So at Charter Hall, what we do is we write to investors and they simply need to tell us, do they wish to redeem their holding? Would they like to roll their investment for another 5 years? Or would they like to do a partial redemption, so something in between? The important thing is it provides liquidity certainty for our investors, and liquidity is delivered at their election. When providing that liquidity for investors, there are a number of things that we consider at Charter Hall. The first is whether we should sell an asset to make that capital available. The second is, should we raise new capital to allow people to exit? And the third is, where are we at in the gearing range? And we will draw down debt, provided that the fund stays within its gearing range as outlined in the PDS. Or obviously, we can do a combination of all three. When looking at capital growth from an unlisted property fund, that's primarily generated from the assets you select in the first place. And as well at Charter Hall, what we do is we do capital management, active leasing, and strategic asset reviews, which also contribute to that capital return over the term of the investment. Additionally, all our properties are independently valued on a 12-month basis from a high-quality external firm. We report our returns generated to investors on a quarterly basis through our website and through our quarterly report that's sent to all investors. The key features of the strategy that the fund focuses on is providing investors with security of income. We do this by focusing on long-term leases and by sourcing properties that have tenants that are in the consumer staples market. Finally, a key differentiating factor for this fund is that it's diversified across different property sectors. That is, it can invest into industrial, retail, and the office property sectors.